we're going to go to the next slide, which is going to provide an overview of what to expect for the day of the agenda. So if you can take a look at the slides here. So we've got a community building activity that we're going to be doing shortly. So we want to make sure everybody gets an opportunity to introduce themselves and meet other folks who are on the call. So it's really important. We'll move into an introduction to the Yes on Prop 17 campaign. For those who are new or who want to learn more about it, we'll provide an overview. And we're also going to be diving into some messaging. So, as we talk to our friends and family about this proposition, it's super important that we're using the messaging that's going to allow us to be most impactful. And so our featured topic is going to be a personal impact of Prop 17 with John Wyndham. And so he's going to be sharing his personal story about how Prop 17 would impact him. Then we're going to move into ways to support the campaign. So again, we can't do this on our own. We really do need a broad group of volunteers and supporters across the state to make this happen. And we're going to feature an action that we want folks to take. And so it's going to be how to create your own fundraiser to become a fundraising captain and become a social media ambassador. So these are going to be two amazing activities for folks to engage in and participate over the next several weeks leading up to the November election. And then towards the end, we'll have an overview of some of the resources that we're offering folks. And then we'll end with an opportunity to ask questions and answers and share some next steps. So again, it's a jam-packed agenda. We have lots of stuff that we're going to cover, and we have great speakers on tonight or on today. So thank you so much for being on. And now I'm going to pass it on to Christine, who's going to share the community building.
Sweet. Thank you so much, Louise. Hey, everybody. As you know, my name is Christine. My pronouns are she, hers, and hers. And right now we're going to be talking about community agreements. So that just basically means like a group of things that we want to like keep together and make sure that we're all on the same page. So I'm going to go through it with you. So we're going to use person-centered language. And you might ask, what is that? Basically, it's language that we're using to make people feel like an actual person. So, for example, like many of us have seen the word inmates, parolee, prisoner, and that basically makes you think of a negative thing. At the end of the day, like regardless if you're incarcerated or not, like you're still a human being at the end of the day. So we want everybody in this call to treat people like the way that they would like to be treated too. So instead of saying parolee, inmate, prisoner, use the word person who's incarcerated. Instead of using the word parolee, use the word someone who's coming home from prison too. The next one is make space, take space, aka step up or step back. So if you're that type of person that's shy and quiet and awkward like I am, try and challenge yourself and actually talk for once. And for folks who are always talking all the time, like step back and have people talk too, so they could have a chance to talk too. The next one is one mic. So if one person is talking, like please be respectful and have them talk, and likewise with other people too. Mindful listening, that's a really interesting thing too. So that means listen to what people are saying, try and digest it, take some time to listen to it too, instead of like thinking what they're saying or trying to come up with a word or a sentence trying like after that person is talking too. So just hear what they have to say. And then the last one is assume best intentions. So the unique thing about this world is that we're all unique, which is pretty cool. So we want to take everyone's beliefs aside and really focus on what we're doing today, and that's to vote yes on Prop 17 too. So that's it with community agreements. And if you have any questions or if you want to learn more about it, please feel free to let us know. If you look at the screen, like there are folks who have a PL. So if you have more information too, like feel free to let us know. And PL means pod leaders. Sorry, it's a little long today. So now we're going to go out into breakout pods, and that's when we're all going to be united for once, which is really exciting. And some questions that we're going to come up with are introductions. So your name, your org if you're in one, and if you're not, totally fine, welcome by the way. Your preferred pronouns and your city. The next one is what brought you into this training today. The next one is, what does parole disenfranchise means to you? And if you don't know what disenfranchise mean, that's a really tough word. I'll let you know what that means in a simple way. So basically, disenfranchisement means the state of being deprived of a right or privilege. An example is the right to vote. So what does that mean to you? This will be a quick introduction, and it's going to take around 5 minutes, and we're going to break out into groups. And yeah, if you have any questions, we'll have a pod leader there to answer any questions that you have. And that's it. And I don't know if I'm the one that's breaking out into groups or if that's you, Brett. Sorry about that. Sweet. So we'll see you in a little bit.
Closing in just a few seconds. Cool. All right, team, who's on deck?
I believe up next we have Shay with Getting to Know Prop 17.
Yes, thank you. And it's so happy Friday to everyone. I'm seeing all these wonderful faces and this coalition of greatness to pass yes on Prop 17. I am Shay Franco-Clausen. My pronouns are she, hers, and I'm the campaign manager for Prop 17. And so I'm here to give you a little bit of information about how this came to be. This proposition was brought forward and authored by Assemblymember McCarthy, that we passed it in June. It was formerly ACA 6, and it was then put on the ballot. And we have some of the amazing support of other elected leaders like Wendy Carrillo, Bonta, Mike Gibson, Lorena Gonzalez Fletcher, Assemblymember Ash Kalra, Sydney Kamla-Gordeau, Mark Stone, Shirley Weber, and Senator Scott Wiener, just to name a few, as well as a huge coalition of people that, and some are here today, from ACLU California, Anti-Recidivism Coalition, the Brennan Center for Justice, Initiate Justice, League of Women Voters of California, Mi Familia Vota, Vote Allies, and White People for Black Lives. And we recently have been supported by the California Democratic Party, as well as Equality California and SEIU, and so many more announcements are coming this coming week. And with that, on November 3rd, once we pass this together, this will restore the voting rights of those people who have completed their prison terms, who are in our community, paying taxes, reintegrating to be a contributing member to their communities that are raising families. And it's so important that as we talk about representation, as the civil unrest is so present right now, we're all seeing it in our social media, it's so important that democracy needs everyone. Because I think Brittany said it best, they're paying taxes. And I think her statement was, representation or taxation without representation is so real. You want people to have the right to make the decisions about the legislation, the people who represent them, and how money is spent in their communities. This will affect people that are currently leaving the prison, have served their prison term, and that are out on a supervised provisionary between 3 to 5 years and sometimes 10. We think it's important for them to have the right to vote. I mean, your civil liberties should not come into question when it comes to punitive actions. And that's what it will do. It will only affect California. And so that's why it's so important that, and you can see it's evident that all these coalition people came together, and so many of you are here today because you also want to be a part of making sure that this proposition passes. And then we originally were free the vote, and you've probably seen the t-shirts, you've probably seen the previous social media, and all we did was convert it to yes on 17 because that's our title, is Proposition 17. I think I already went through some of the people that are behind it. That's also another slide, if you could pass to the next slide, as I mentioned before. And that's pretty much the introduction I have on Prop 17.
Thanks so much, Shay. And next up we have John Wee, who's going to talk about key talking points for Prop 17.
Hi, everyone. My name is John Wee. I am Director Advocacy for We the People of San Diego. So today my portion of the training is to help you guys in terms of, talking to potential voters about why Prop 17 is important, and we urge them to vote to support the proposition. So the Prop will allow 50,000 Californians who are returning home from prison reintegrate into society after they finish their prison term by restoring their right to vote. As Shay had already mentioned this, is that these are the folks who came coming home from the prison, and now they should have restored, they should have their right to vote. And this affecting California voters. If we actually behind in some other state, like Florida has already passed this, and I believe we're writing vote card. My partner is writing vote card for Florida to, for urge them to vote for the first time. So it's also another talking point in make democracy fairer and more inclusive and in line with other progressive states. So California, being trifecta fluid it is, we do need to catch up on that, on this issue, to be more progressive, right? So one other talking point that is really good is talking about how the proposition will help combat voter suppression among Black and Brown communities who are over-policed and subject to systemic inequality within our criminal legal system. So just think about it this way, another way to explain voter suppression. If a Black person and a white person go into court, the Black person more likely to get thrown in prison. And when they get thrown in prison, their voting right get taken away. And when you do that, when you subject a massive amount of people within the current criminal legal system, that have that kind of systemic racism, then you ended up suppressing a large number of folks within a specific community, and that is voter suppression. So for people to march about talking about Black Lives Matter, now is the time to really take turn their words into action by vote yes on the Prop 17. And the other one is another very compelling talking points I would like to share is how Prop 17 will make our community safer at voting and civic engagement, reduce the likelihood that people will be rearrested. Just think of this way, when you vote, often you have to think about the consequence of your vote. You vote yes in this way, you vote no in this way. When you put people into the space where they have to think about their action, how they voted, that those civic engagement space will more likely to have people, have people think about their action more, and so therefore they're likely going back to the same path before. And then another one is it's really, really meaningful to me in a way that the proposition will give the Californians on parole who are working, raising family, and paying taxes have a say in the policy and representative who affect their lives. To think about it this way, how many of us go down to city council for any other elected official office and say, I pay taxes, I'm your constituent, you have to listen to me. How can we say that when there are 50,000 Californians who cannot have that privilege saying the same thing as we do? So in order for us to really talk about equality or any equity for anything at all, we literally have to, or even walk around and say, and this is specifically for a lot of folks who have the privilege of voting before and take it for granted. When we said every vote counts, does that really count? We cannot say that until 50,000 Californians can vote again. So hopefully, if you can take some of the talking point and help you to talk with your neighbor, your friends, all the folks around the world and all the voters to urge them to vote for Prop 17. Thank you.
Thank you so much, John Wee. And next we have John, who's going to be sharing his story. John Wyndham.
Hello? Can y'all hear me? Everyone hear me? My name is John Wyndham. Yeah, my name is John Winham, and I was incarcerated for 30 years. And for 30 years, I sat uh, inside a prison, watching every election, never missed a election. Uh, and the thing was, I never cared about the voting process. I didn't feel it applied to me. And after educating myself um, and understanding the power of the vote, uh, I wanted to vote. Fast forward, I parole. I come home. Um, it's voting time. I sit down with my wife and my kids, and we started talking about voting, and I felt the shame. I no longer felt a part of this conversation, a part of this one fundamental right for Americans is to vote. And I had to tell my kids that I could not vote. All because I committed a crime when I was 19 years of age, got out at 49 years of age, paid my dues, educated myself, gave back to the community, gave back to the free world while on the inside. Then I come home, taxpayer citizen, father, mentor in the community, continuously giving back, paying my taxes, all that, and still can't vote. This thing is going on in my community that I know that could be changed, but I have no say. But every month you take my money and do what you want to with it. And me and 53,000 other people have no say in what you do with our money. Taxation without representation. Disenfranchisement is affecting not only those people in our community as well, because we're all from somewhere. And people understand our plight and our fight. And that fight is Prop 17. And that's to get the voting rights back for us on parole. That is the one fundamental right I believe we all should have as Americans. And California has to make that change. And if you want to be about justice, if you want fair and say it's a democratic system, then everyone must be a part of that system. And no one should be excluded from that system. So in my community have no hope. They don't care about the voting system. I am a leader in my community, so if you treat me like that and they treat me like that, how you think they gonna react to the system? And I am a part of the system. I should be allowed to have my say. And my people seeing me have my say gives them a voice, gives them courage to step up and have their say. And when people start voting from those communities, connived communities, those impoverished communities, those predominantly of color, then we have a democratic and a fair system where all voices is being heard. Until then, ways be unjust. Thank you for your time and for hearing me.
Thank you so much, John. Really appreciate you sharing your story. Next up, we have Daisy, who's going to share some ways to support Prop 17.
Thanks, Brittany, and thank you everyone again for joining us. So my name is Daisy. I'm with the Yes on 17 campaign. And so I'm just going to highlight some ways that folks can support the proposition, but also a really cool campaign that we're launching out that you can take part in as we roll out, the campaign for the next couple of weeks. So one of the ways that you can support the campaign is to check your registration voter status, and that can easily be done through the Secretary of State website. We have a link on the slide, and we can share it on the chat as well. But it's really easy just to make sure that your registration status is up to date, to ensure that you get your ballot and that there's no things that you need to adjust on your end. We also are really asking for donations, so folks who have the means to donate. This campaign, it's not cheap to run a ballot initiative campaign, and so if you don't have the means to do it, that's completely fine. Even a simple share of the link, that can go a long way with your networks, with your email contacts, with your friends that you can text. So we really are asking for folks to try to share that link as much as they can within their own networks. I'll be going in a moment about what it means to become a fundraising captain and a social media ambassador as ways to support the campaign in a moment. But you can also get your organization or community groups to endorse the Yes on 17 campaign. We have a page on our site that we had linked earlier in the chat where you can fill out a form to endorse the campaign. The more folks that in your community in particular that are seeing the organizations that are supporting it, the more likely that we can get folks to support it who look to those communities for guidance on how to vote down the ballot. And so again, asking and promoting the Yes on 17 materials, including our email list, asking folks to join our email list because that's where we share key updates with folks who are signed up as far as what's happening with the campaign, new developments, and follow us on our social media. That's something that we are really excited to roll out. We definitely have some things coming up for everybody who's following us on those accounts. So, if you haven't done so already, follow us on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram, Yes on 17, and hopefully somebody can drop the handles in the chat so that way folks can check those out and just follow us to keep up to date with what's going on. And ask somebody to come with you at the next training section. We're really looking to make these fun and interactive and highlighting different things at each session. So each session won't be the same as the other one. We'll be highlighting different things. So I'll go ahead and talk about this fundraising campaign that we're launching with the Fundraising Captain program. So as I mentioned, we do need to raise funds for the campaign in order to be able to produce digital ads, especially in this time of COVID-19 where it's difficult to do other ways that we're normally used to promote ballot campaigns. So we really are relying heavily on social media, word of mouth, and getting endorsements from editorial boards and so forth. So, the bulk of this is really fundraising. So what we've raised so far is we have done through grassroots organizing, people who have shared the link. On Monday, we had a kickoff event, and if anybody was able to join, you saw that we had an initial goal set for $3,000. And actually, by the end of that event, we were able to raise $4,500 just in people power and people sharing the link with their networks. So it's really, it can really go a long way when you share the link with folks who can, make that possible. So, we have a donation button on our website, yeson17.vote, where you can donate directly and direct folks to donate to. But you, as community members, activists, are able to actually partake in this more directly by becoming a fundraising captain. And so the Fundraising Captain program is a program that would activate people power to raise money for the Yes on 17 campaign. Fundraising captains would basically create and run their own fundraiser to get donations from their personal networks. And this would be going on from now up until November 3rd. So we really recommend you picking a campaign that maybe you can run for about a week or two, so that way you can have a deadline and create urgency with your networks to have people donate to your particular fundraiser, and those funds would be going directly to the Yes on 17 campaign. You can do multiple ones if you're really creative and have different things that you in mind as far as how you want to enact those fundraisers. And anybody can be a fundraiser. You don't have to have a fundraising experience. We are putting together a document that we can share with folks who are interested in doing this, to show you just how easy it is to do your own fundraiser. And this is a great way for folks who maybe have had no experience fundraising, just to see what it's like to run something like this, and would help you also build your fundraising skills for other things that you are also involved in. So if you're committed to the values of our campaign, and you're willing to ask others for support, this is something that we highly encourage folks to join. Our goal is to raise $17,000 for this campaign, just in this program. So we definitely believe in the power of people and the creativity, and the networks, the strength of our networks that we have with our community. So how do you become a fundraising captain? So I'm going to be showing folks in a second on how to actually do it. But on our website, there is a button that says Take Action, where you will be able to sign up, and you can share on there the details of what your fundraising campaign will look like. So this would be a good time for folks to brainstorm, take some time and brainstorm what are some campaigns and fundraisers they can do. You can do a bingo night, maybe do loteria if you are with the culture that plays bingo and loteria. You can have karaoke nights, you can do raffles, you can do game nights. There's a lot of different things that you can do, that you can run just through your networks, and it would be fun and interactive and a great way, especially in times of COVID when we can't really reunite with folks. So I think this is a really good way for folks to be creative about how we can stay connected with people in our community and our networks. So if you have any ideas, you can feel free to drop them in the chat. But just wanted to just give some ideas that folks can use to kind of light a fire in your sparking your brain, so that way you can start brainstorming of what are some ways that you can do this campaign. And make a list of people that you think you would want to engage with. I think the power of social media is there if you have social media where you can really do graphics and interact with folks. There's programs like Canva that are free that will allow you to create flyers with templates that they already have made, to support your campaign efforts. And just have conversations in general, and raising awareness about this also is the goal here, where you're sharing why it's important to fundraise for this campaign, so people also know that this is the cause that we are actually working to do. And so this is what we are looking to launch now. And I'm gonna do one more. I'm gonna move on to the social media ambassadors, and then I'll go ahead and show folks how to sign up for both of these action items on our website. So the other thing that we are launching is a program called Social Media Ambassadors, where we are asking folks to do social media campaigns to create awareness through their networks about this campaign. And this is also ongoing from now up until November 3rd. You can start right away. You can do this right now while you're watching me. Just go ahead, and if you have Instagram, reshare the post from our campaign. If you have Twitter, go on our Twitter account and retweet those posts. Same thing on Facebook if you have access to that. So those are things you can do right now. But as being a part of a social media ambassador, we are asking folks to commit to sharing the campaign on a weekly basis and sharing the content that we have. So this is something that we'll be sending out specific emails to folks with the materials that they need to be able to share additional content that could really uplift the campaign. So these are the two programs that we are looking to launch. If I can get screen share, I can show folks how to do that on my end. So just give me 1 second while I go ahead and take care of that. Okay, so on the Yes on 17 website, it's yeson17.vote, there's a button up here that says Take Action. And so if you click the Take Action button, you will be led to a page where folks can sign up to take part and join our campaign efforts. In this section where it says Join Yes on 17, there is actually a section down here that says, I'm interested in being a social media ambassador for this campaign. And if you select that, it will add you to our list of contacts for folks who are interested in being a social media ambassador. And we can go ahead and send the information about that program to you in a separate email. And then if you wanted to also do the fundraising captain program, you can select I am interested in helping to fundraise for the campaign, which will then ask if you also want to host a fundraiser. And from here, it will allow you to tell us what ideas you have to fundraise for this campaign. I did something similar through my organization, Initiate Justice. We had a summer fundathon campaign where we were doing grassroots fundraising, and folks were asked to just do their own fundraisers for our organization. So my experience with this was very easy. I chose to do a raffle. So I contacted some of my friends who have small businesses from home, and I asked if they were willing to take part in the raffle by having some of their items be included as part of that raffle. From there, what I did was I promoted that. I made flyers through Canva, which is a program that allows you to create social media graphics. And I just shared that across my platforms. And it was really fun, and it was a great way to really get folks interested and plugged in, while also uplifting and highlighting the shops that I was looking to support. So it really seemed to do a good work in promoting things all around. So you know, if that's something that you're interested in doing, feel free to sign up on our website, and then we can contact you just to address any additional questions and provide more information for anybody who's interested. And I think that's it on my end. So I'm going to just stop screen share and give me just 1 second. Trying to figure out how to do that. Okay, I think I stopped. So, okay, great. So I will pass it over to Brittany, who will be talking about resources next.
Hi everyone, I'm Brittany Sonsafer from ACLU of California. Thank you so much, Daisy. So just to recap really quickly, a lot of these resources have already been mentioned, but yeson17.vote is our website, and you can find so many of the great resources that we've mentioned today on that page. If you haven't already started following us on social media, that's a great place to get updates about what we're working on. So our handles on Facebook and Instagram are YesOnProp17, and our handle on Twitter is FreeTheVoteCA. So those are up on the screen, and we'll drop them in the chat box as well. So we talked about the endorsers earlier. So if you have not yet endorsed the campaign, you can do that either as an individual or on behalf of your organization or your agency. Just go to yeson17.vote and go to the endorsements tab. There's a form there, and you can also see all of the organizations that are already endorsing Prop 17. You can also go to the Take Action page, which has already been mentioned a few times. That's your one-stop shop for supporting Prop 17. So there you'll find a fact sheet with that you can print out. It's really cute and eye-catching, and it's got a lot of great facts about Prop 17. That's also where you're going to find the forms that Daisy was mentioning. It's just one single form where you can sign up for our email list. You can commit to being a fundraising captain and tell us about your event, and you can also commit to being a social media ambassador. So that's a great place to get all kinds of different resources there. And you can also find the links to our social media on that page. You can also find on our website an events page, and there you'll see all of the registration links for our upcoming activist trainings. So today's training is part of a series. We are going to be doing a training every other week from now until Election Day. Each training will follow generally this same structure. So if someone has not been a part of a previous training, we will do an intro every time. We will run through our top line messages so you can be empowered to talk to your friends and family and coworkers about Prop 17. And we will do a summary of lots of different ways to get involved with Prop 17 and a rundown on our website. But we'll also have new content for people who are joining after having come to a previous training. So this time, what John's story was unique to this training. So that was a one time that you guys just got to experience for this training. And Daisy's deep dive into the fundraising captain and the social media ambassador was also special to this training. So next time we will be featuring another message in more detail, and we'll be featuring another action that y'all can take to support Prop 17. So again, our next training is going to be on Friday, September 4th at 1 p.m. They'll always be on Fridays at 1 p.m. every other Friday. And if you want to get in touch with us, You can do that by contacting either info@yeson17.vote or media@yeson17.vote. If you want to reach out to us to ask to do a presentation for your organization or your agency for an endorsement on Prop 17, if you'd like to partner with us to do media, if you just want to learn more about the campaign, those are great ways to get in touch with us. So now we have a fair amount of time left over before we go into breakout rooms for any questions. So if you have any questions for any of our panelists so far, feel free to drop those into the chat box now. And if you don't feel comfortable using the chat box, we can try to also open it up for video, but we have quite a few people on the call, so let's try to do one person at a time. Does anybody have any questions for our panelists? So I'm seeing one great question here in the chat box. Do we have yard or window signs? Brett, as our fearless communications committee leader, how are we doing on merch?
Yeah, we get that question a lot, and it's a good one because I'd love to have those too. The reason why we have not done that yet is because the traditional way of distributing them is usually at in-person events. So in those cases, someone like me would order, 1,000 of them, and then we distribute them locally and have another person equivalent somewhere else in the state. We don't have a third-party vendor. So we had someone reach out and offered to help with that. It's going to be complicated because, Daisy was talking about the critical aspects of fundraising. Right now, we are prioritizing all of our fundraising on the ways that we know we can use that money effectively. So they're definitely on the table right now. We just don't know the extent to which we're going to be able to do it. We don't have a hard, yes, it will happen for sure. The goal is to get them though. So thank you for asking about them. Just to answer that question is, yeah, we do. We have the official images available to people. They're going to be a part of all of our social media toolkits and things like that. I don't think they're available in SVG, for example, formats, which are the highest resolution, which is what you may need to do like a printing job of your own, for example, just because those are not as easily as downloadable from the website. We wanted to make them broadly usable on social media. But reach out to info@freethevote if you are interested in at yeson17.vote, and we can just send you those files, and those are the ones that we can make that available. Just they're never going to be on the website directly, I think, just because for downloadable reasons. It's possible, but we'd have to look into that. But send an email, Megan. We'll get it for you for sure.
Brett,
You're muted, Brittany.
I also wanted to add, there's a question on here from Shayla regarding promotion materials be in other languages other than Spanish, or I'm sorry, other than English. I know that we are working on something, at least for the website, but I don't know if for materials, if you had any updates with regards to that.
We do have our talking points available in Spanish. So if you reach out to that email address, info@yeson17.vote, we can send you our talking points in Spanish so you can talk to your communities about Prop 17. Someone else is also asking about phone banks and text banks. So we will not be coordinating our own phone and text banking effort, but we do want to empower others to do phone and text banking through their organizations and with their communities. So that's an action that we can feature on a future training, and we'll also put together a toolkit with a sample script so that people can reach out to their communities and let them know about Prop 17. There, I'm seeing a question about t-shirts. Are there any other questions? And if anyone wants to share a question by video right now, feel free to take yourself off mute. Okay. If there are no more questions, then I will hand it over to Jesse to facilitate our last breakout group.
Okay, so we're going to go into breakout groups again and talk for another 5 minutes. You can talk about something you learned today and how you'll implement what you learned here. So that's where you could maybe talk about ideas for fundraising, kind of brainstorm. And then we'll come back, and I think we'll have some time to maybe share out with the group about what we talked about and what we took from this training. And we'll have a survey of the training for everyone to sign, everyone to fill out. Okay, so I think we can go into those now.
Hi there.
All right, who's in the room with the ghost of John Wyndham? Because he was in there. He was in 2 different rooms, John. So you were only in one. You cannot be in 2 places at once.
I do not want to be in 2 places at once. And I was trying to get the video, trying to get my mute on. Like, you know, I've been gone a long time, man. I don't know nothing about technology, and I'm trying to upgrade, right? So
We
I
are
wasn't
all
able to be
struggling.
heard.
When I saw that there were 2 Johns in one room, I'm just like, all right, I dropped the ball somewhere.
No, because I tried to go back to my
Don't worry about it. You're good.
TV's working.
You're good.
I mean, video. Wow.
I think we're all back. Since we still have 5 minutes, maybe we could just take a few minutes to share what happened in our breakout groups, what actions people are going to do moving forward, or something someone learned, just to hear from more people, get more voices in here, and then we can put the poll up. Does anyone want to share?
I can share from my group. So everyone in my group was talking about the fundraising events that Daisy shared, and people had great ideas. So said the raffle event. I mentioned that I often do like a proposition party. So just a Zoom get to know what's on the ballot, and you can turn that into a fundraising event with your friends too. So it's both educational and a good opportunity to let people know about the proposition.
Yeah,
I had a
Amber?
question. Okay, yeah, I'm awkward. I'm not going to apologize for it. So phone banking, Rashid brought up phone banking and like a donor list, and I was wondering if I could get more involved in like putting people on the spot on the phone, because I'm actually really good at like getting people to, I don't know. I'm ready for like a donor list and some phone banking time. Just wanted to put that out there.
Yeah, I really appreciate the phone banking comments. We can definitely work on putting together a script for people and put that up on our website.
Yeah, I would say still sign up for the to be a to host your own fundraiser, and we can get you that information. One more person want to share what you talked about in your breakout group? Okay. Then, well, it was really great to have everyone here. I hope you learned something and can put it into action, what you learned. And now the poll's up. So if you could just do the poll before leaving, that'd be so great and helpful, so we can adjust for next time. And our next training's in 2 weeks.
Thank you so much again to everyone for joining. We really, really appreciate your time and your support and your feedback on this poll. It really helps us improve. We all spent time looking at the last one and made adaptations, because this is your proposition, this is your campaign as much as it's ours. So this is something that we really need to make our democracy stronger for everybody. And remember to bring a friend to our next training too. We'll have different featured speakers, and we'll have different featured actions as well.
Yeah. And I would invite everyone to go off mute as you leave and say bye to everyone. I know we already had a bunch
Having
of people.
everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
Bye.
Bye, y'all. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, John.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you guys. You guys are amazing.
Y'all be blessed. You got to get with me, bro, to help me with this internet stuff, bro.
Tech.
Give me a call.
I might have to. No, you're good. You're good, John. You